The rain hammered against the windows of our small cottage in the Cotswolds, England, mirroring the storm brewing inside me. I'm Alistair, 46, and up until a few weeks ago I thought I had it all. I'm an IT specialist, a job that allows me to work remotely, and I relish the quiet life we'd built away from the city. My wife Bronte was a primary school teacher and we were happy. Or so I thought. It started subtly. Bronte, usually so open and communicative, became distant. Her phone, once left carelessly on the kitchen counter, was now always clutched in her hand, screen down. She'd flinch if I so much as glanced at it. Just catching up with work friends, she'd say, a little too quickly, a little too brightly. I dismissed it. Stress from school, I reasoned. Everyone goes through phases. Then came the late nights at school events. Bronte had always been dedicated to her job, but these events seemed excessive, stretching later and later into the evenings. When I voiced my concerns, she'd accused me of being controlling, of not trusting her. "Don't you think I deserve a life outside of this house, Alistair?" She'd snap, her voice laced with a resentment I couldn't understand. The first real crack appeared on a Tuesday afternoon. I was working from home, troubleshooting a particularly nasty server issue when the doorbell rang. It was a delivery driver with a bouquet of roses, 24 crimson red. "Bronte?" he asked, consulting his clipboard. "Yes, that's my wife," I said, a warmth spreading through me. I hadn't bought her flowers in ages. I took the bouquet, signed for it, and brought it inside, a silly grin on my face. "These must be for you," I called out, expecting Bronte to appear from the garden where she was supposedly weeding. No response. I found her phone on the kitchen counter. She must have left it inside. I opened the card, expecting a sweet message. My blood ran cold. The card read, "Thinking of you. Can't wait until Friday. Love, Jasper." Jasper? Who the hell was Jasper? The roses suddenly felt heavy, suffocating. My mind raced, trying to find a logical explanation. A student, a colleague, a friend. But the love Jasper lingered, a poisonous barb in my heart. I knew deep down that this wasn't innocent. I spent the next few days in a fog of anxiety and suspicion. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Every time Bronte spoke, every time she smiled, I saw Jasper lurking in the shadows. I tried to confront her, but the words caught in my throat. What if I was wrong? What if I was just being paranoid? I didn't want to accuse her of something she hadn't done, but the doubt was eating me alive. Friday arrived like a death sentence. Bronte was attending a conference in Bristol, a 2-hour drive away. I knew with a sickening certainty that she wasn't going to any conference. She was going to Jasper. I couldn't stay in the house. The silence was deafening, the walls closing in. I needed to know the truth, no matter how painful. I decided to follow her. I waited until she left, then gave her a 20-minute head start before setting off in my own car. The drive to Bristol was agonizing. Every mile felt like a betrayal, every passing car a potential glimpse of Bronte and Jasper together. I imagined them laughing, holding hands, sharing secrets that should have been mine. I arrived in Bristol and started searching for her car. It didn't take long. I found it parked outside a small, nondescript hotel on the outskirts of the city. My stomach churned. This was it. This was the moment of truth. I parked my car a safe distance away and waited. The minutes stretched into an eternity. I watched the hotel entrance, my heart pounding in my chest, my hands clammy. Finally, after what felt like hours, I saw her. Bronte emerged from the hotel, her face flushed, her hair slightly disheveled. And she wasn't alone. A man walked beside her, his arm draped casually around her shoulders. He was tall, handsome, with a confident swagger. Jasper. I knew it instantly. They laughed, their eyes locked together, oblivious to the world around them. They looked happy. Happier than I'd seen Bronte in months. The sight of them together was like a physical blow, knocking the wind out of me. I watched as they got into Jasper's car, a sleek, expensive sports car that made my own modest vehicle look like a relic. They drove off, leaving me standing there alone in the rain, my world crumbling around me. The drive back home was a blur. I don't remember much of it, just the endless rain, the flashing headlights, and the gnawing pain in my chest. I felt numb, hollowed out. The woman I loved, the woman I thought I knew, had betrayed me in the most profound way possible. I arrived home to an empty house. Bronte wouldn't be back until Sunday evening. I had 2 days to process what I'd seen, 2 days to decide what to do. I spent the first day in a daze, wandering aimlessly around the house, touching her things, remembering happier times. I looked at photos of us, smiling and carefree, and wondered how it had all gone so wrong. By the second day, the numbness had started to wear off, replaced by a burning anger. How could she do this to me? How could she lie to my face, pretend that everything was fine while carrying on an affair behind my back? The betrayal was unbearable. I decided I couldn't stay in the house, surrounded by her things, her memories. I needed to get away, to clear my head, to figure out what to do next. I packed a bag and drove to the coast, to a small seaside town I'd always loved. I spent the day walking along the beach, the wind whipping through my hair, the waves crashing against the shore. The vastness of the ocean helped to put things into perspective. My problems, my pain, felt small in comparison to the immensity of the world. As the sun began to set, I sat on a bench, watching the waves roll in. I knew I couldn't stay in this state of shock and anger. I needed to take control of my life, to reclaim my happiness. I decided to confront Bronte, to demand the truth, and then to move on. I returned home on Sunday evening just before Bronte was due back. I waited for her, sitting in the living room, my heart pounding in my chest. When she finally arrived, she looked tired but happy. The same sickening happiness I'd seen on her face in Bristol. "Alistair, you're home early," she said, trying to sound surprised, but her voice lacked conviction. "How was the conference?" I asked, my voice flat. "Oh, it was fine. Very informative," she said, avoiding my gaze. "Really? Because I thought it looked more like a romantic getaway," I said, my voice rising. Bronte froze, her face paling. "What are you talking about?" she stammered. "I followed you, Bronte. I saw you in Bristol." "I saw you with Jasper," I said, the words tumbling out of me. "Don't lie to me anymore." Bronte's face crumbled, tears welled up in her eyes. "Alistair, I can explain," she said, her voice trembling. "Explain what?" "Explain how you betrayed me. Explain how you lied to me. Explain how you could be so cruel," I shouted, my anger finally erupting. "I didn't mean for it to happen," she sobbed. "It just happened. Jasper and we connected. I know it was wrong, but I couldn't help myself." "You couldn't help yourself?" I repeated, incredulous. "You made a choice, Bronte. You chose to betray me, to lie to me, to sleep with another man. Don't try to pretend that you were a victim in all of this." "I'm so sorry, Alistair," she wailed. "I love you. I didn't want to hurt you. If you loved me, you wouldn't have done this," I said, my voice cold. "I am done, Bronte. I can't do this anymore. I want a divorce." Bronte's eyes widened in horror. "No, Alistair, please, don't do this. We can work through this. We can go to counseling. We can fix this," she pleaded. "It's too late, Bronte," I said, shaking my head. "You broke my trust. You broke my heart. I can never forgive you." I walked out, leaving her sobbing in the living room. I didn't look back. The next few months were a blur of lawyers, paperwork, and heartache. The divorce was messy and acrimonious. Bronte fought me every step of the way, trying to get as much as she could. She even tried to blame me for the affair, claiming that I was emotionally distant and neglectful. But I had proof of her infidelity, and the judge ruled in my favor. I moved out of the cottage and into a small apartment in a nearby town. It was lonely at first, but I slowly started to rebuild my life. I threw myself into my work, took up new hobbies, and reconnected with old friends. I started to feel like myself again, like Alistair, not just Bronte's husband. One evening, a few months after the divorce was finalized, I received a phone call. It was an unfamiliar number. I hesitated before answering it. "Hello?" I said. "Alistair, it's Jasper," a voice said on the other end. My blood ran cold. "What do you want?" I asked, my voice tight. "I wanted to apologize," Jasper said, his voice sounding strained. "I know what I did was wrong. I ruined your marriage, and I'm truly sorry." "Sorry doesn't cut it, Jasper," I said, my voice laced with anger. "You destroyed my life, I know," he said, "and I'm paying the price for it. Bronte left me a few weeks ago. She said she made a mistake, that she still loved you. She wanted to come back to you, but you wouldn't take her, would you?" I didn't say anything. I just listened. "She's a mess, Alistair," Jasper continued. "She's lost her job, her friends, everything. She blames me for everything, but I think she blames herself too. I thought you should know. Why are you telling me this?" I asked, my voice softening slightly. "Because I feel guilty," he said. "I thought I was in love with her, but it was just lust. She's not a good person, Alistair. You're better off without her." I hung up the phone, feeling a strange mix of emotions. Anger, sadness, and relief. Relief that it was all over, that I was finally free of Bronte and her lies. Relief that Jasper was suffering the consequences of his actions. I never spoke to Bronte again. I heard through mutual friends that she was struggling, that she was alone and unhappy. But I didn't feel sorry for her. She had made her choices and she had to live with the consequences. I eventually met someone new, a kind and compassionate woman named Gwyneth. She was everything Bronte wasn't: honest, loyal, and loving. We built a life together, a life based on trust and respect. I finally found the happiness I had been searching for. Looking back, I realized that Bronte's betrayal, as painful as it was, ultimately made me a stronger person. It taught me to value myself, to trust my instincts, and to never settle for less than I deserve. It also taught me that sometimes, the best revenge is simply moving on and finding happiness without the person who hurt you. And that's exactly what I did. A few years passed and I received an unexpected email. It was from Bronte. Hesitantly, I opened it. She wrote about how much she regretted her actions, the pain she caused, and how she had finally understood the depth of her mistakes. She was now working at a local library, living a quiet, solitary life. She didn't ask for forgiveness, merely acknowledging the hurt she inflicted and hoping I had found peace. It was a strange feeling reading her words. There was no anger, no satisfaction, just a quiet sense of closure. Life had moved on, and so had I. Bronte's letter didn't change the past, but it did bring a sense of finality to that chapter of my life. Life has a funny way of working out. What seems like a devastating blow can sometimes lead to unforeseen blessings. My marriage to Bronte was a painful chapter, but it ultimately led me to Gwyneth and a life filled with genuine love and happiness. The scars of betrayal may always be there, but they serve as a reminder of my strength and resilience. And sometimes, that's all the revenge you need.